Today we're recapping the 4th day of Warhammer Fest. There's Necromunda, Warhammer Underworlds, and a pint-sized plastic Thunderhawk for Aeronautica Imperialis. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we're doing a brief roundup of Games Workshop's reveals on the 4th day of Warhammer Fest. This one's the day where they focus on their specialist and box games, and there were a fair few new model previews, including a bunch of mini Space Marine and Eldar flyers for Aeronautica Imperialis, some new sinister and weird Delac miniatures for Necromunda, and an Ideneth Deepkin warband for Warhammer Underworlds. Let's start off with that mini Thunderhawk then, where Games Workshop did allow themselves a pretty tongue-in-cheek video. I highly recommend you give it a watch. It's on the reveals page that's linked down in the video description. Basically they zoomed in really close on this tiny Thunderhawk model and tried to make out that it was a full-sized one, saying how it's the most requested kit in plastic. Still though, even if it isn't an enormous and very expensive Thunderhawk kit for the actual 40k game, I still think that the miniature is really quite cool. I think out of all of these mini flyers in the Aeronautica Imperialis game, perhaps this Thunderhawk is the most iconic yet. Even if you didn't really play Aeronautica Imperialis, that could be really quite fun just to have sat on your shelf. In general, the big news for Aeronautica Imperialis was the addition of 2 new factions, Space Marines and Craftworld Eldar, which will be coming out in a big versus box against each other. The new miniatures on the Space Marine side are this Thunderhawk, the Xiphon Interceptors and Storm Eagle Gunships, and for the Eldar it's Nightwing Fighters and Phoenix Bombers. All of these are going to be coming out in this Wrath of Angels box. They gave us a few hints on the rules of the miniatures. The Space Marines will play very brutally and direct, lots of force and decent armour, where the Eldar, as you'd expect, are far more lightly armoured, but have all sorts of sneaky tricks for not getting hit quite as often. They also gave us a look at the board as well. It does seem that this box doesn't come with the Thunderhawk Gunship in itself. I guess that they're going to release this, and then the Thunderhawk will be an optional extra that you can pick up additionally. Usually these ones have cost around £55 or $90, based on previous similar ones that they've released in the past. Still though, even having never played Aeronautica Imperialis, I think that Thunderhawk miniature is really quite fun. I'm going to guess they'll have at least a few random Space Marine players pick that up as well. The other reveal in the 41st millennium was this Delac House of Shadow gang. They've been going through the Necromunda houses such as Cawdor, Escher and the like, and releasing a bunch of expanded fighters and slightly more quirky options within the gang. I strongly suspect that all of these miniatures will be coming on one sprue, bundled all together, and released alongside an expansion book for the Delac gang, the House of Shadow. It seems in the House of Shadow kit you get 6 different miniatures, all very much fitting in with the sneaky robed information gatherers that help manipulate the hive of Necromunda. These 2 on the left are apparently Nact ghouls, Delac champions that function as assassins and saboteurs, being very proficient at dispatching enemies up close and personal. The 2 on the right are Psygeists, some sort of Delac Psyker, again specialising in information gathering. The one on the right carrying one of these strange psychoteric worm gizmos. I'm frankly not sure I'd like to meet any of them in a dark alley in the Underhive. In addition, the kit seems to come with a couple of strange creature gizmos. There's another one of those psychoteric worms, whatever they do. And then they talked about the other one, but they did talk a bit about the Piscean Spectre on stream. Apparently it's some sort of unholy fusion of enslaved Xenos and mechanical construct, hovering through the Underhive and ready to snare the unwary. They did mention that there are other Necromunda things on the way. It's very much not going to be curtains for Necromunda when all of the houses have their expansion set, so it'll be interesting to see what they come up with next. They did also mention this Necromunda hired gun game, which has been announced for a good while now, and I must admit quite a lot of the preview footage looks absolutely spectacular. On the stream they gave us a quick preview for a stop cannon weapon, a little explosive gun that I don't think they'd shown off before. They're honestly not really all that much new for the game. It's going to be released on June the 30th in any case. I might well give it a try myself, just for the sheer spectacle. Finally, they also revealed the last of the Warhammer Underworlds warbands, after the 8 that they promised for Diachasm. Here we have an Ideneth Deepkin warband, known as Elethaean's Soul Raid. This apparently represents some of the Ideneth going off to harvest some of the souls of those less fortunate than them and drag them back to their deeps. It certainly wouldn't be an Ideneth Deepkin release without all manner of nautical life swimming around, and this time they've brought along some tactical battle assets in a fish and a crab. I feel like these guys are quite a varied looking warband, I must admit that central Elethane the Ill-Fated model looks pretty spectacular. Definitely a lot going on for him between that net, the sea serpent and his spear. And then they've also got a warrior and a thrall, as well as some of the sea wildlife, so they've got pretty much elements of the entire faction in one team. They certainly look pretty good fun, though perhaps maybe not one of the most cohesive looking warbands they've ever released. So that brings us to the end of Games Workshop's Day 4 reveals. For me, the standout thing was this little Thunderhawk. We'll be interested to see what you make of it down in the comments below. I'll most certainly be looking forward to covering the Warhammer 40k preview. I'm sure I'll have plenty of squigs to see on the orc front, though I'll probably have the video out the morning after rather than the same day. In any case, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, or just check back later if you'd like to see that. As always, if you'd like to help support the channel, I would just like to mention the channel's Patreon page, which is down in the video description. Making all these videos do take a fair amount of time and effort, so if you are enjoying regularly, any support is enormously appreciated. There's a fair few rewards for backing the channel, such as seeing early videos or entry to the prize giveaways, so feel free to check it out down in the video description if you're interested. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.